Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Katie and I'm so happy that you're here. Today I'm kind of continuing on with getting creative with things in my house to make my DIYs. So what I'm gonna be doing today is making some artwork out of random objects that I've discovered in different rooms of my house. So basically I want to create some artwork that looks kind of trendy, maybe even high-end. I don't know, I'm not gonna go that far because it might look horrible, but I'm going to take you along with the process. So hopefully this will inspire you guys to try something similar and get creative with things that you already have in your house so you don't have to spend any money. So no idea how this is gonna go, but let's get started. Okay, so far what I'm working with are these dried orange slices. These are left over from my orange Christmas garland, so I'm thinking maybe I can use these to make like a cool painting slash print kind of deal. And I also have this random plant cutting that I cut off of one of my plants that I've been propagating, and it was growing like crazy. I have a ton of these cuttings, so I might sacrifice one for the artwork. And then I also have some marbles around here somewhere that I found. I just have to dig them out again, but I have kind of a fun and like cute idea for those, so if I can find them again, we'll use those too. Okay, so for this first one, I'm using that plant cutting that I showed you, and I just took a piece of plain old printer paper because it's what I had, but you can use something fancier if you have it, and I just folded it a couple of times and cut it into 4 equal sections. Then I took one of the leaves from the plant cutting, just cut it off, and then I took some acrylic paint and coated the entire leaf on one side. I think acrylic paint would be the best choice for this, any different color that you want to use, and make sure that you cover the stem as well. And then you just want to lay it over your piece of paper and stick it down. And then don't move the leaf at all, just use your fingers to slide it all over the back of the leaf so that the print and the paint adheres to the paper. I would recommend practicing this a few times. That's why I was happy I was just using printer paper because I didn't feel like I was wasting materials. And you can use the same leaf over and over, so you don't have to worry about that either. Just keep coating it with paint and then laying it down and just smoothing it out. And I actually really like how there's some like little blank spaces when you peel it up. It's not the perfect shape of the leaf. I think that looks a little bit more organic and I just like the look of it. So I also decided to use a fake leaf and it worked just as well, so you don't have to have a real plant if you don't have one. And I just made sure to press down each leaf individually on this one. And again, it looked exactly the same as the other one. I was really happy with how it turned out, so just make sure that you are pressing it down firmly but not too much, and then you can just peel it up. And I love how these look. Now I didn't have a frame, like 4 of the same size frames for these, so I kind of decided to make up my own thing. So I put some yarn on a yarn needle and then I added enough beads onto the yarn that they would fit all the way across the top of each piece of paper. So for me it was about 10 beads. And then once I made sure I had enough, I put a line of hot glue across the very top of each piece of paper, and then I pushed the beads together in my hand and then I laid them down on top of the glue and press them down to make sure that the glue is fully dry. And then you can take each of those end pieces of the yarn and just tie a knot, make sure each one is even, and then you can hang it up that way. So I hung 4 up together and I think they look so pretty. So next I wanted to use those marbles I told you about. So I took a piece of watercolor paper. It's a bit thicker than regular paper, and I just taped it down inside the lid of a cardboard box. Then I picked out some paint colors and I took the marbles and I dropped 1 each into the paint colors that I wanted to use. I decided to use a pink, a maroon, and a blue color. And then I rolled the marbles around so they were fully coated with the paint. Then taking 1 marble at a time, you'll drop it inside the box and start to roll it over the piece of paper to create this really cool design. So I like a more minimal style, so I only rolled it like 3 or 4 times for each color. And then you can just take that one out and go on to the next color, roll that around. And the fun part about this is that you can use any different colors you want, as many colors as you want. You can add more paint for like a thicker line. And I think this would be a really fun project to do with kids too, like if they wanted to make their own artwork. So I removed the tape and then I think it looks really cool. Like, I think this looks like something you would probably see online that you would pay a lot of money for. So for pretty minimal supplies and how easy this was, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So the dried oranges didn't work out, but I wanted to do something else. So I cut out these little cork rectangles out of just like a sheet of cork that I had. And then I added some acrylic paint to that. And I decided to use it as a combination of a stamp and a paintbrush. So I would kind of lay it down onto the paper and then drag it across to create almost a brush stroke pattern. But the reason I like using the cork is because it has those little craters in it, which creates really cool texture on the paper. So yeah, I just filled in all the blank spaces with a couple different colors. I started off with this pink color and then went in with some blue after that. And I did different size lines, and some of them were lighter, some of them were darker. So you can really play around with this as well until you get a design you like. I did a couple different versions until I really decided on something that I was happy with. And again, I just popped this in a frame and I used some colors that were complementary to the marble artwork so I could style them together. And I, again, am really happy with this. It looks like something you'd get online, so for pretty cheap, I love it.